I had a dream the other night that was really ugly. And I'm afraid that it has some truth to tell me. And I don't want to see what it is. You know, in my dream, I behaved in a way that I would never, ever behave in real life. And what that represents, what it shows, is my shadow, my dark shadow. So there's a dark shadow and a bright shadow. Shadow is just aspects of yourself that you're not claiming or owning, that you are distancing yourself from for some reason. So that can be good stuff and bad stuff, but in this case it was the bad stuff. And with a brand like Sweet Georgia Pam, it's easy to pretend there's not bad stuff. But part of my practice as a spiritual director and as a person who holds space for dreams to be honest, my integrity and my honesty and my authenticity is important, and that the fact that I do my own work is really critical to being able to help people do their work. So in the dream, I was part of a circle, a prayer circle inside of a church. It wasn't my church. It wasn't stuff that I believe, but I was visiting, and I was part of this prayer circle, and there was a song that was being sung, and at the sort of most dramatic point of the song, this woman in the group fainted, and there were children part of the circle with us, and they tried to run over to the woman, and I held them back, and I rolled my eyes, and I was like, ugh, she always does this. Please don't react. She's fine. She's fine. She's really just drawing attention to herself. And so I held the children back. And then one of the children, who I thought was a child that I know, started singing the song again. And out of pure frustration, and I did not want her to sing that song. I didn't want it to happen again. So I went over to this little girl and I wrestled with her and ended up pinning her down and covering my hand over her mouth to make her stop singing. And it was a body response, like I just did it. And the girl's mother came over to me like in a complete state of, like, she was so enraged, rightfully so. How dare you put your hands on my child? And I realized in the moment that it wasn't the girl I thought it was. But also I realized that even if it had been the girl that I knew, that would not have been an okay way to behave. So I apologized to this woman. I tried to explain myself to her and the crowd that was now gawking at me, staring at me in disbelief, in disgust. And I tried to explain myself, and I knew none of the explanations would work. And so I woke up from the dream just feeling so ugly and so embarrassed. Not just embarrassed, but like chastised, and I felt so shameful. So what I know about dreams is that some aspect of my shadow is emerging, and it is time for me to claim ownership over some behavior that doesn't sit right with me, some behavior that is not okay. So I understand that my work now is to do the hard thing of letting that ugliness reside in my body. And you can use the dream imagery because it pulls you right to the deepest emotional expression that's available for you to release right now, for me to release about this dream. So my work now is to be able to allow ugliness and to watch for it, because it's right underneath the surface. So that ugly dream suggests that the pressure of something repressed is rising up, and is ready to kind of break through into my conscious awareness if I will allow it to. If I don't allow the dream, if I reject the dream, dismiss it, and go, well, that was awful, let's not talk about that again. Let's not go there because I'm afraid of it, of what it's going to show me about myself. If I repress it, it's going to come out in these triggered responses and these behaviors going forward. So I've been watching, and I've noticed this week that I am behaving in a way that I don't like. And I'm like, oh, that's the shadow. Oh, there it is. All right. It's connected to this dream imagery. It's connected to this sense of, I can feel it in my belly right now as this like tightening in my gut. And so I have to, my challenge is to like sit with it and allow myself to experience it, see what comes up, and then to release it, right? To give myself an opportunity to move it through my system and exit my system. And that's the perpetual inner work. That's the shadow helping me process. So if I can admit that sometimes I'm an ugly person, sometimes I behave in a way that is reprehensible, then I can allow that my body to process what that feels like and watch myself survive it. Because anyway, you can use the energy of those dreams as a way to like safely and gently and with compassion sink into that space, and then just sit, and then just hold that tension, and then allow myself, I'm going to sit with that tension until my protective ball around it softens so that it can release and rise up like a bubble and release toxicity out. And if you need a place to do that, if you don't have a safe space to do that, then reach out. Let's carve out a safe space for you to kind of hold that, own that part of your shadow. It will not consume you. And watch yourself survive it.